So how you doing? Hey, this is going to be the first video after Hopperstock. And I got some things to talk about. Boy, do I. We had a great time down there. I still feel like I'm recovering. Truck broke on me. All sorts of stuff. So this is going to be a great video, I think. We got some new saws here in our collection now. I mean, it's just so much. So we're just going to get started here. I'll show you what happened to the truck, and we'll just kind of move on from there. Alrighty. So here's the inside of my messy truck. But the seat here, the back of it broke and ended up folding all the way in the back when we going down the road. I was only like an hour and a half into the trip down to Hopperstock when that happened. So I piled a bunch of stuff up beside the seat to hold it, to get me through the trip. But yeah, this is my repair job. I just kind of went in there to that hinge there and welded her fast. So yeah, I did what I had to do. She ain't going nowhere now. So simple fix on the truck, but it made it uncomfortable for the trip with that thing wanting to fold back on me, because I didn't have enough stuff to pile behind it and keep it up, you know. So I was laid back pretty good, but we got through her, you know. Now on to some better stuff. Yeah, I got a bunch of chain laying on my table here. So I was running into issue with chain. Pretty much everything is a little on the aggressive side for that kind of an event. So I'm finding that these events like this, you know, they have to get their wood supply together early, so the wood is really dry. So if you're accustomed to cutting green wood and you like you know, a deeper raker and all that stuff, it may not work out so good at these events because they got that wood and it's been, you know, sitting and storing for a while. So you may not want to be so aggressive with your rakers. I'm going to work on all this chain and get it set up a little better, a little bit milder raker, just because the next thing we got going on is going to be here at my place, and I know that wood's a bit on the dry side, so it's not going to be very forgiving to a deep raker, you know. Let's just move down the line now. MS 170, boy, does it need a bigger carb. It's really struggling, so we're gonna get a bigger carb on it. I was looking for just a direct bolt-on replacement. I don't know if I'm going to go that route because I have a feeling it's going to need something bigger than that down the road. So, you know, why put on a direct bolt-on whenever I got a feeling it's actually going to need something bigger? You know what I mean? So we'll see. This, you guys remember, this is the 50. It's a 50 chassis. The side cover and top cover are just, you know, whatever he could find, but it's a 50 chassis with a 55 top end, and I forget the piston. Is it the 028 or 029 Super, something like that? That's the piston it's at. No, I don't think he did anything machine wise, nothing like that. Just a little bit of porting, nothing crazy, and the results you see coming off of this saw is just from doing that swap out. I think the saw could use more timing, so I think I'm going to advance the timing a little bit. 372, the whole Transformers 372, the bell hopper, been helping me with. I'm having some carb issues. One time I run it's lean, one time I run it's rich, and then almost never running exactly the way I want it. So we might be looking at a carb swap on this. The carb that came factory, a little erratic, so we might be looking to improve the carb situation on this one. Homemade 360 made an appearance down there. It didn't do much run time. Nobody seemed interested in running it, so I really didn't you know, put a lot of effort into it. I ran it once. It was lean, and I just put her down. I didn't play with it a whole lot. This is Smiley's XL Auto. We built it, made an appearance of bell hoppers, got a little run time. We actually got time cuts out of it. Everything seems to be functioning good now, except the manual oiler. We do got good oil coming from the auto oiler now. It's just the manual oiler is not working. So we're getting to a point I already replaced the one check valve. It didn't fix it, so it has to be, I'm thinking there's another check valve, which I'll have to remove the whole handle assembly and all that stuff in order to replace it. So I think we got to do a little bit of work to that to get the manual auto working. But so far, it's turning out. And the Homelight 410. I got a ton of video on this saw that I'm not releasing. Just because I feel like it's a bunch of unnecessary stuff when I could tell you in a few seconds. Whole lot of work to it, fixing air leaks, got it all straightened out. Carb seems to be a little small, it's struggling there, but it's hard for me to continue because the coil is toast. I've tried 2 coils, both of them, same issue, weak spark. It's giving me all the typical signs of, you know, having a weak coil, like the misfiring and all that stuff. So I got to locate a coil for it. I want to see if I can find a modern equivalent and not an old, you know, vintage one. Because the old vintage Prestolite coil, it's a blue coil, notoriously go bad. I'd like to see if I can get a modern replacement for it. Yeah, I took some other saws, but we picked up the Counter Vibe 3400 from TW, and hey, I like it. I like it a lot. It performs great. It's not like modern, super modern performance level, but for what it is, you couldn't ask for anything better. Like, this thing runs great, you know, I have no issues whatsoever. Might need to do a little tweaking to the tune, but we're not going to do that until she's a little further broke in. You know, she's an aluminum cylinder and all that stuff, so I'm going to take my time with it. The P70 was the star of the show. For everybody who came to my area and was looking at the saws, the P70 was definitely the star of the show. Everybody was surprised. The performance level coming out of something so old. I mean, everybody is saying that's like modern ported saw performance. I have an old vintage saw. So it definitely became the star of the show out of my little lineup. And of course, you know, the Briscoe saw was there and stuff. The 1050 made an appearance. But I got something even cooler I'm going to show you. This little guy, you've been seeing him on the videos, right? This little hopper. This whole thing started from like me saying, you know what? I think I'm going to grab something out of Hopper's junk pile, just as like a souvenir, you know, just to bring home for a souvenir. And this is what it turned into. He ended up with legs and arms, using a chain as a necklace. Bill Hopper even signed the top of it up on yonder there. But we're quite pleased with that little statue, little Hopper statue. I might even do some crazy videos with that, just because, you know. Now, a gentleman handed me this signed little board there, and I remember signing it, but I can't remember who handed it to me. He handed it to me and he walked away before I could realize who handed it to me. Go figure, you know what I mean? But yeah, we got a little memento from down there at Hopperstock, bunch of signatures. The John Cutter, she did fantastic. We'll be showing some video on that. We'll be making a change or two. The issue is how the pipe sticks out to the side like that. So I have to pay attention to how I'm cutting, because that thing will hit, if you know what I mean. So we're going to be looking at making some pie cuts and getting that thing cut and wrapped up a little towards the back more. But yeah, we'll be showing you the correct technique to bend one of those pipes around by cutting and welding it. So, but otherwise this thing is running perfect. If you've seen any of the pictures and stuff from me hanging out in Hopper's shop, this is the saw we were working on, and it is running like a dream right now. Not a single complaint from me at all. Don't want to add to the front of the pipe to try to bend it around, because the length of the pipe is everything in the performance. So we have to keep this length, and we're going to have to modify what we got like sitting there and make a correct type of bend to get that thing facing rear. So yeah, I guess I can show you how to do that here in the future. We picked up one saw. We brought one saw back, I should say. This is to build for somebody. This is going to be for Justin Weaver. He's had it boxed up for like 2 years, waiting for me to get to a point that I could build his saw for him. Just to give you guys an idea, he's been waiting for 2 years just to get it in my possession, because of how long it takes me to get through projects. You know, we're busy. Here's the M1 methanol. A lot of guys interested in that. I kind of gave TW the rundown on how to get started. I gave him a little bit of fuel, and I think he's going to start playing with some ethanol. And I think the first time he gets a success, like successful saw, I think will be enough to convince him to venture down that field a little bit further. You know, it's like a whole new rabbit hole. Now, I gotta clean up my bench. This is the disaster of me prepping for Hopperstock. So, you know, I'm gonna clean up the bench. Gotta get the 371 done. I mean, it's a running saw. I just got some clutch repairs to make. But we're gonna get into the 550. We're gonna get it tore down. Get to work on that. And in the meantime, while we're working, playing with this and getting it up and running good, we might pick something out of the pile here to work on a bit further. Now, TW, when he handed me the pull-in, he forgot to take his bar off. So I'm just gonna leave the bar and chain hang there. And I might ship it to him. He might come in July. He told me to just keep it, but I'm gonna leave it there because, you know, I just feel like it should be proper. You know, I got all these bars here. I don't need that bar. And that is like a brand new Echo bar. And I think he told me to keep it just because of the hassle or whatever, but I think we'll send it back to him, or maybe he comes up in July. He said about coming up in July. If he comes up in July, then we can give it back to him then, you know, or we'll get it shipped to him, one or the other. So, yeah, just a little quick update there on some of the stuff, but guys want to hear some of the dirt of Hopperstock? You know, the nitty gritty stuff. What's better? Who builds better saws? All that stuff. I'll give you the rundown if you want it. You want to know the answer? From the people at Hopperstock, you want to know the real answer? Nobody cares. That's right. Nobody cares who builds the biggest, baddest, hottest saw there is. Nobody cares. You know what they do care about? They care more about everybody getting along and just coming together and sharing ideas and all that stuff. And if you actually get to Hopperstock and meet those people, they'll stand right next to each other and hug each other and say hey and howdy and all that stuff. There is nothing. There's all this like, oh my, this guy might get angry or this guy might angry. No, that's not what happens. People are just happy to be there. And what you see on YouTube is literally the guys just sharing their ideas. And a lot of times it's the keyboard warriors who are stirring up the drama almost all the time. You know, it's the keyboard warriors who do this stuff. The actual builders, when you get to go and meet them, some of the best guys you could meet. So if you ever have an opportunity to go out, don't hesitate. It's the best thing you could possibly do. You don't even have to take a saw. I'm telling you, you don't even have to take a saw. If you want to save money and you're like, but I can't, you know, I want to fly out, or I'd have to fly out or something like that. You don't have to take a saw. There are saws there that you can run a different one every 10 minutes all day long. You know, try it all, the different stuff. So you leave your stuff at home if you have to. There's plenty of stuff there to try out. And if you ever get the opportunity, you should. It's more about showing up and enjoying each other's company and having fun and all that. So if you didn't get to come this year, try to make it next year. There's, you know, plenty of opportunity there. So that's one of the reasons I like that event so much. It is. It's a very friendly environment, you know. Get together, hang out, chill, you know. I got to talk to a lot of people. Bellhopper, I got to hang out with Bellhopper loads. There's so many of them. TW and Chad and Timber Slasher. I met Timber Slasher, and there's so many I can't even begin to remember. I met like Justin Weaver. He's just a viewer on every saw channel there is, and he was there, and got to meet him, and he got to run some of my saws. And in fact, he bought one of my saws a long time ago, and I got to run it again. You know, great guy, great time, and I wish you all could have made it. Maybe next year you'll be able to. I went down for 3 days. Few people went down for 2 days, and the most part of the people there were just there for the 1 day. But yeah, I liked being there for the 2 days. The third day was just a little extra time for me, just to have a little, relaxing and stuff, because I have a long drive. But the 2 days that I was really there hanging out with everybody was just the best time ever. You know what I mean? It's a blast. So, hey, I hope you enjoyed this little video, and we'll catch you on the next one. Later.